Welcome everyone to on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon to our Lunchtime Discovery Series put on by the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences in the Office of Environmental Education. I am joined today by our experts. So Liberty Gates is the Georgia Programs Manager for Find Outdoors, and Sharon Tam is the Communications Manager for Find Outdoors. And they are going to, hi, welcome. We are so excited you're here with us today. So you're going to tell us all about some really beautiful places and environmental challenges and diversity in STEM. So please take it away.
Well, it is afternoon, isn't it? And it is a beautiful day, and thank you so much for the opportunity for us to share our organization, Find Outdoors, with you all. And as Carrie said, I am Sharon Tam. I'm the communication manager here in Pisgah Forest, North Carolina, which is our headquarters. And Liberty Gates is in Georgia, North Georgia, and our program manager. So let me share a screen here, share my screen so you all can see. And everybody see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so who is Find Outdoors? We are Find Outdoors, Liberty and myself, and lots of other staff, leadership, volunteers, whether it be in a campground, a visitor center, a retail outlet, and we're all dedicated to Find Outdoors mission, and we're all passionate about ensuring that all people have access to our public lands. And let's see now. I'm not used to sharing a screen. How do I advance the screens? The next slide.
Yeah, so down at the bottom, if you hover your mouse over the lower left, you'll of the PowerPoint, yeah, you'll see little arrows pop up, and they're light. If you go on the lower left of the window, yeah, down there. Do you see the little advanced arrows pop up?
Nope. Oh gosh.
We have technical difficulties sometimes. No worries. Maybe stop sharing and start again. See if that.
Can you not move it forward with your arrows on your computer? Would that work?
Oh, maybe. Let me see. No.
Okay. Well.
Oh my. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so try clicking on the screen. Click on the actual PowerPoint and see if that, there you go.
There it is.
That was it, Hugo.
So
Hugo's
sorry.
watching in YouTube and he gave us a tip.
There
Thanks,
we go.
Hugo.
Gosh. So now it went ahead too far. Sorry, that's not the next screen. Here we go. So Find Outdoors, or FIND, is an acronym. It means Forest Inspired Nature Discovery. And so in other words, our story is rooted in education about the forest. Our passion is to help people become inspired. And our goal is to help people connect with nature. And our drive is to help people learn through discovery. And that is something that each person in our organization strives for every day, to get people out in nature so they can learn about our environment and the benefits, as well as the things that we're all striving to achieve. Find Outdoors' mission is to promote educational, recreational, and interpretive opportunities about the forest, water resources, natural history, and the cradle of forestry. Our roots are in the cradle of forestry here in Pisgah National Forest. We started out, some of you may know, the Cradle of Forestry in America Interpretive Association. Sometimes it's hard to say. We're formally the Cradle of Forestry in America Interpretive Association, and we are a 49-year-old nonprofit based in Pisgah Forest, and we're soon to celebrate our 50th anniversary early next year. So how did we get here? In 1972, the Cradle of Forestry in America Interpretive Association was born. And that was right after 1968, Congress set aside 6,500 acres within the Pisgah National Forest as the Cradle of Forestry Heritage Site. In the 1980s, a focus started to bring educational and recreational and interpretive opportunities. In the 90s, education became a major focus for us at our managed sites. And then in 2010, and within that time period, we began visitor center management. Brasstown Bald and Anaruby Falls, which are in North Georgia, beautiful sites that we manage. In 2014, the Pisgah Field School was established, and in 2019, planning began on rebranding of our entire organization. When the Cradle of Forestry in America Interpretive Association first started back in 1972, that's what we were, the Cradle of Forestry. But as we began managing visitor centers in other states, campgrounds, it did not have it was not the focus that we wanted to have. So last year, early in 2020, just before the pandemic hit, we became Find Outdoors with forest-inspired nature discovery. I wanted to draw attention to these pictures on the bottom. On the left-hand side is a historic photo of the schoolhouse at the Cradle of Forestry, where the first School of Forestry started in 1898, led by Dr. Carl Schenk, a German forester, under the direction of George Vanderbilt, who owned all the land in the area and who also had the Biltmore House. Some of you may have visited the Biltmore. In the middle is a lovely photo of a lake, Lake Winfield Scott, campground that we manage in North Georgia. And on the right is the Pisgah Ranger Station visitor center that we now manage as a visitor center and a gift shop. So this is Find Outdoors by the numbers. As I said, we have almost 50 years in operation in 4 national forests, 2 government partners and 1 private partner, in 3 states, 5 visitor centers, 11 recreation and camping areas, 6 gift shops, almost 900,000 annual visitors. And we expect to sell over 300,000 retail items in this year alone. These pictures on this slide, the upper picture is our managers, Mo and Rachel, at the Northwest Trading Post. Last year, we gained a contract with the National Park Service to manage a gift shop on the Blue Ridge Parkway at mile marker 259 near Boone, North Carolina. And it's very popular, and it's been a huge success, and these ladies do a great job. The bottom photo is a couple next to Davidson River in Pisgah National Forest, which is close to the Cradle of Forestry site, and on the Highway 276 corridor. That's interesting.
Click it again, Sharon, see if it comes up.
Go back.
Now click the forward again one more time to see if the words come up. Yeah, there we go. They're
Oh, they're going
They have
one
an
at a time?
effect. So yeah, you're gonna have to keep booking.
Okay, thank you. So why we matter, we are very proud of the fact as a nonprofit that 83.6% of our total revenue is reinvested. That is a big deal. A lot of nonprofits struggle to even reach 70% of our total revenue being reinvested. And we also have the Guide Star Exchange Program's Gold Seal of Transparency. As it was said before, the 900,000 visitors each year. We have over 7 decades of combined nonprofit experience with our leadership staff and other employees in our organization. The first contract I already mentioned about with the National Park Service. And we began operations of a privately owned campground about 1.5 years ago in Brevard, North Carolina, close to the Pisgah National Forest, called Cherryfield Luxury Group Camping. And it is in Brevard, as I mentioned. First time operating a Ranger Station Visitor Center. I mentioned that as well. And we have 100% giving by our fine board of directors. That's another point that we're very proud of. So where are we located? Here are a list of all of the sites that we manage in 3 states, North Carolina, Indiana, and North Georgia. As you can see, some of them are campgrounds, some are visitor centers, as I mentioned, Northwest Trading Post, that is on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and that is strictly a retail outlet. Liberty is going to tell you now a little bit more about some of our locations and our great education programming that we offer at our sites in all 3 states. So you take it away, Liberty.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Real quick, can people see me? Okay, cool. All right, that's exciting. Well, like Sharon said earlier, my name is Liberty Gates, and I am our Georgia Programs Manager. So I do work predominantly in North Georgia. I mainly work between Brasstown Bald and Anaruby Falls. Those are actually 2 of our most popular sites. Anaruby Falls is a waterfall right outside of Helen, Georgia. And last year it got like 250,000 visitors. And I think Brasstown Bald got about 200,000 visitors. So quite a lot of people coming through those sites. Anaruby Falls is actually the most visited waterfall in Georgia. So that's something we're very proud of. So we are definitely seeing a lot of people year round. Like I said, Anaruby Falls is a waterfall right outside of Helen, Georgia. It is a twin waterfall, so there are 2 waterfalls there. We have a 0.4 mile long paved trail that goes up to the falls, which is, I think, one reason it is such a popular site, because it is, the waterfalls are relatively pretty easy to get to. Brasstown Bald is the highest point in Georgia. And offers just some amazing views. In the top left of your screen is actually a picture at Brasstown Bald. One of photographers that I work with took this image. Brasstown Bald, like I said, is the highest point in Georgia. It is 4,784 feet up. I say that number in my sleep, I think. And from up there, you can we have an observation deck with 360 views. You can see 4 states. So you can see the rest of Georgia. You can see North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. When you're up there, it really just looks like endless mountains. It is just so, so beautiful. We have an exhibit hall on the site, which sort of talks about the history of the site. and the history of the Forest Service and things there, as well as the history of the fire tower. And then in this image here, you can see the fire tower that is at Brasstown Bald. That fire tower was built in the 1960s. It is no longer in use. We use different ways to monitor for wildfires now, like satellites and drones. So this fire tower is no longer in use, but it still is up there and it's really exciting to see. The trail to Brasstown Bald is 0.6 miles, and it is also paved like the trail at Anna Ruby. And Brasstown Bald is actually completely ADA accessible because we have a shuttle that can take you up to the top, and we also have an elevator that can take you to our exhibit hall level, as well as our observation deck level. Another one of our very popular sites is the Cradle Forestry Heritage Site. Like Sharon had mentioned, they have an exhibit hall there, and they have some awesome trails there, as well as some of the original buildings that were on the site. So as I was saying, I am the education director in Georgia. So obviously my focus is education. And I think one of the things I love working about Find is that we offer such a diverse array of education. So I have sort of been able to get knowledge on so many things since I've been working for Find. So I talk about history on a regular basis. I talk about our geology. I talk about our biology with wildlife. I talk about ecology, relationships with animals, and plant life. And then I guess get to talk about conservation a lot too, which is so important. And something I always say is our sites, Find Outdoor sites, are absolutely beautiful. And I love it when people come and take pictures and really enjoy our sites. But I want people to leave with a little bit extra, a little bit more knowledge on the site. So that's what my job is to do for Find. I also want to note, if you guys have any questions throughout this, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Carrie is going to let me know. So I am welcoming all questions. I love questions. So like I was saying, we have a variety of different education we do at the site. One major form of education we do is just informal education. I am the educator for Georgia, so I cannot be everywhere at once. So we have a lot of informal education that we do at our sites, meaning there is not an educator or someone working directly with the visitors at the sites. One way we use informal education is just our interpretive signage. On all our trails, we have interpretive signage, which is describing the ecology of the site, describing what you are looking, maybe a little bit about the history of the site. So these interpretive signs are there for visitors to read so they can learn a little bit about the site and figure out what they're looking at. We try to keep those interpretive signs up to date and as in good condition as possible. And those are definitely something visitors really enjoy at our sites. We also have a variety of museums and exhibit halls, like I was saying. Both the Cradle and Brasstown has museums and exhibit halls, and the Pisgah Visitor Center, Ranger Center also has a little exhibit hall as well. And I really love those. They're really an immersive experience in just some really beautiful locations. And so those are a lot of fun for visitors and really just add to that extra learning experience. The Cradle of Forestry, yes.
I have a question from the chat.
Go
so
right
Glenn
ahead.
wants to know, so Glenn wants to know, is the fire tower being maintained so it doesn't fall into ruin?
So the Forest Service does try to maintain it, although we don't allow people access to the fire tower. Like I said, it was built in the 60s, and in order to actually get to the very top, you have to like climb a ladder and stuff. So we do maintain the outside and try to keep the inside clean and sort of maintained as well, but we don't allow visitor access to it. I often get the question like, can I go up there? I want to go up there. And I think it is sort of, I do think the idea of going up there is cool, but I always tell people, I'm like, I've been up there, and the view you get up there is the same view you get on the observation deck, except you're sort of in like a stuffy room at that point. So I'm like, just stay on the observation deck. You get a breeze, it's so much better, you're outside. But yeah, we do try and maintain the whole facility, including the tower. It has just a lot of history behind it, and unfortunately, a lot of our fire towers throughout the Southeast are sort of getting removed because we no longer use them. We don't want that to happen to our tower at Brasstown Bald, so we do try to maintain it. Yeah. So like I was saying, the Cradle of Forestry Heritage Site has recently been updating their exhibit hall. They have a new citizen science exhibit. So I don't know if you all are familiar with citizen science, but it's just a way that people can get involved with the science and people actually provide the data when it comes to scientific studies. And so this is a really, really interactive exhibit. Kids and their families and people, visitors to the Cradle site, get to actually do science on that site and see some of the results of their science and compare the data that they collect to other visitors' data as well. So it is just a really, really fun exhibit, really, really interactive. And I personally love it. I am not a kid, but I think it's awesome. So I'm really, really excited about that new exhibit. And we also provide a variety of scavenger hunts at our sites. Brasstown Bald, our exhibit hall, recently got a brand new scavenger hunt. And basically, kids can complete this scavenger hunt and it takes them throughout our exhibit hall, and they basically answer questions and try to identify things throughout our exhibit hall. So it sort of just takes that learning to a next level. We also provide these little guides at some of our sites. So I don't really know if I have a specific name for these guides. I'm going to call them explorer guides, I guess. But basically, we hand these out to visitors, and they can take these during their visit at the site, and they can use these cards to try identify things throughout the site. So like this card has some pictures of some leaves from trees that they might see on the site. So it challenges them to see if they can identify those items on our site. We also have some more simplified or easier versions for kids of younger ages, which just have like color swatches on them. So like pinks and reds and greens. And we ask them, see if you can spot these colors on your hike. These are really easy for staff to just hand out, and these are what we are going to try and implement at some of our campgrounds as well, because these are really just very easy ways to get towards that next level of education, that next level of interaction. We also are trying to implement explorer backpacks at our campground. So we don't just do education at our visitor centers, but we're also trying to do some education at our campgrounds. And these explorer backpacks, basically visitors can check these backpacks out, or campground or people staying at campgrounds can check these backpacks out, and they have different activities in them that they can do at the site. These activities they can do on their own time, and it is really easy for staff to just sort of hand these out, and then they don't have to be watching over the visitors the whole entire time. So that's sort of the informal education that we do. Now I'm going to move into the more formal education that we do. And formal meaning there's an educator with the visitors when this education process is going on. So I'm really proud of a lot of the partnerships that we have with different organizations to promote education. I personally, Brasstown Bald and Anna Ruby and the Cradle partner with organizations like the Department of Natural Resources. In Georgia, we partner with Georgia Mountain Falconry, which is an association that talks about falconry, and they have a variety of different raptors. We partner with Save Georgia Hemlocks. We partner with some local photographers. And basically all these organizations, what they do is they partner with us, and they will come to the site and host programs and host workshops. So like our local photographers that I work with, Chris Greer and Jason Clemens, they will come and they will host photography workshops. And this is like that image in the top left is a picture that was captured during one of the photography workshops. And then down below, sort of the second picture on the left is a picture from our sunrise photography workshop we had just recently. So they sort of guide people through taking pictures of some beautiful scenery. Save Georgia Hemlocks comes to our site and talks about hemlock woolly adelgid and how we can help save our eastern hemlocks. Georgia Mountain Falconry comes and brings a variety of raptors for people to view and get sort of a close-up look on. We have Appalachian Georgia Friends of the Bears comes and educates on bears. And there are so many more I could name, but we partner with a lot of awesome organizations who come to our site and just educate people on everything you can think of. We also host a lot of our own events. So Stephanie, who is the educator at the Cradle, she hosts a variety of field trips, and she also hosts a variety of Woodsy Owl Curiosity Club classes. I don't know if you all are familiar with Woodsy Owl. His saying, he's a Forest Service sort of character, or the Forest Service created him, but his motto is give a hoot, don't pollute. And Stephanie has created a variety of activities around ecology, history, everything you can think of around Woodsy Owl. And she has groups come to the Cradle, and she will perform these activities with the groups. We also host a variety of field trips at our sites. Usually during our field trips, we have the school group do a guided hike and then some interactive activity with them. We also personally host workshops. So in the very bottom left, there's a picture of some boys holding up some walking sticks. So recently at Anna Ruby, we hosted what we called the Wondrous Walking Stick Workshop. And visitors got to come, and they paid a $3 fee, and they were able to decorate their own walking sticks with materials that we provided. This was a lot of fun. It was creative, and it was so exciting to see the walking sticks that people were decorated and came up with. So that was a lot of fun to witness. Probably our most popular programs that we host at our sites are our programs that surround bioluminescence. So we host Blue Ghost hikes at the Cradle Forestry site, and Blue Ghost is a firefly that will actually glow blue, and they can keep their light on for about 45 seconds. And so they host hikes where they will, they're night hikes, and visitors can walk around the Cradle site and view the Blue Ghost fireflies. It is absolutely breathtaking, so beautiful. And then at Anna Ruby, we host foxfire night hikes, and foxfire is a gnat larva that is bioluminescent. It glows blue. There's actually a picture sort of in the bottom middle of the screen, and that is foxfire. It's little tiny glowworms that will glow at night, and that's probably one of our most popular programs as well. So these night hikes are really popular, really exciting. People love them, and it's so awesome to see bioluminescence in your home state. We also do a lot of outreach. So education, while we do a lot of education on site, we work to do education off site as well. So Stephanie is working with, again, she's the educator at the Cradle. She is working with some campgrounds and summer camps to go to them and do actual education on their sites. So she is traveling off site. And then I like to work with our community a lot, and I've gone to a variety of community centers and done different presentations there. So while a lot of education occurs on site, we work to have it occur off site as well. And then we also work really hard on our social media to try promote education there. So we like to post pictures of awesome things that we find on our sites. We try to quiz our Facebook viewers, see if they know what that is. And we really like to use our social media pages to educate viewers on what is going on at the site. And then if you want to go to the next slide, Sharon. Awesome. And then our education team, Stephanie and I, and then also Clay, who is in one of these videos, he is our education director. We all work together to create these really fun videos. These are educational videos, and we talk about a variety of things. Clay and Stephanie started these a little bit ago, and they have just done a great job at just talking about a variety of subjects. These videos are fun. They are funny. We personally have a lot of fun doing them. When we've been making some of them, I've joked around, I can't even believe I'm getting paid to do this because I'm having so much fun making these videos. But yeah, these videos are up on YouTube, and this is just another way we get fined out there, and another way we can educate our viewers and our supporters who might not be able to make it to the site. So even if you can't make it to a fine site, there is a way that we can get some education to you. So, and I personally think the multiple ways, the diverse ways that Find tries to educate its supporters and its visitors is something that's so valuable to me, and really so valuable, I think, to STEM in general, because especially with the pandemic that was going on, not everybody could get out there, but we have still found ways to provide education, and I really value that and enjoy that. Yeah. All right, Sharon, if you want to go to the next slide.
Well, I was just going to say, Liberty, that you mentioned social media, that if you will search for Find Outdoors on Facebook, Instagram, and like us, then you will get updates ahead of time of programs that we're having in our campgrounds or visitor centers. And also these videos that are exceptional are, they're in our Find Outdoors YouTube page. So if you search for Find Outdoors, then all of these videos will pop up.
Yeah,
So,
both Anna Ruby Brasstown and the Cradle host a variety of programs all throughout the summer and fall. And the best place to see what is coming up is our website, gofindoutdoors.org, as well as our Facebook pages. We put the events, any programs or workshops we're having go into the events on our social media pages. So if you are coming down to North Georgia for the weekend, or you live south and you're coming up to North Georgia, you can see what we are doing that weekend from our Facebook pages. Yeah.
And also, if you go to our website at gofindoutdoors.org, like Liberty mentioned, and scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, it says stay up to date. If you put in your email address, you will get our newsletters that have future and past events that have happened, as well as notifications that we have programming up that you can reserve online, because a lot of that, the Blue Ghost and the Foxfire events and many other Woodsy Owl, if you go to our programming page, you can reserve online to attend those events.
Yeah, and here are some pictures of some of our sites. The top middle picture is actually a picture of Brasstown, the observation deck. And then right below that is actually a picture of the new citizen science lab within the Cradle of Forestry Historic Site, or Heritage Site, inside their museum, inside their exhibit hall. That is their new citizen science lab, which, like I was saying, is a lot of fun. Yeah.
And in the upper left is a waterfall in the Pisgah National Forest called Daniel Ridge Falls. And just below it are some kayaks that you can rent at Morganton Point Campground, which is on Lake Blue Ridge. Beautiful, beautiful lake. We have a retail outlet and rental that we're managing starting this year called The Point, right on the shores there, that you can rent. And there's Liberty and Stephanie at Anna Ruby Falls in the upper right. And the Northwest Trading Post that I mentioned on the Blue Ridge Parkway is in the lower right. And that is a must see if you're in that area on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and I think if anybody has any questions, we would be happy to take them. I know we gave you a lot of information. Find Outdoors covers a lot of land and does a lot of things. So if y'all have any questions about any of the programs that we offer or how to visit our sites, we would be happy to take them right now.
That was so awesome. Thank you both so much for sharing these really special places. So we are waiting see if anybody has questions in the chat right now.
Awesome.
But I have a question. So what is for both of you? So what's your favorite spot? For each of you, like either like just what do you think is the most beautiful, or what's your favorite spot to educate about?
That's a hard one.
It's really hard.
It's like choosing your favorite child. I think there's just our sites are also different, really. So there's little things that I like about all of them. Brasstown Bald being the highest point in Georgia, when you're up there on the observation deck, the sunrise and sunsets are amazing. There's almost zero light pollution at night, so the stars are absolutely breathtaking. But one thing I always like when I'm up there is sometimes the silence. You don't hear cars, you don't hear, any of the noise of the city, and I love that so much, because I think we sometimes don't realize that we do have all this background noise all the time. And so sometimes when it's all gone, it's really, really nice to experience. And then Anaruby, on the flip side of that, it is not quiet. You have the rushing, you don't have, cars or anything, but you have the rushing water all the time. And that is just so, so beautiful too. I feel like I have just like a perfect noise machine around me all the time. But yeah, those are definitely two things that I love about those sites, because you often think when you go to the sites, what do you see? But I really like what I can hear a lot of the time too.
It sounds so cool. So
Yeah.
What about you, Sharon?
Well, I have to say that the Cradle of Forestry is my favorite because of the history. It's also where I started with Find Outdoors. I was the assistant manager at the Cradle of Forestry for 3 seasons. And so it's home to me. And it's because it's where we started our organization at the Cradle of Forestry. And the history when you visit, there's a film that you can see that tells the history of how the first school of forestry got started. There are over 3 miles of paved walking trails. So whether you have mobility issues or you have a stroller, as on some of our other sites, we have paved trails. And you can't do that in other parts of any of the forests. And so that's really special. But there's historic buildings that some of them actually date back as original from the late 1800s. So that's pretty special that they're still standing and that they are maintained by the Forest Service.
Yeah.
So we're very proud of that. And it's a special place because of the roots for me.
Yeah, I think each of our sites has something unique that really just draws me to it. And I always tell people, I am a big nature lover, but there is always a day where I'm at work that I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. And people will be like, how are you amazed by that? You're here every day. And I'm like, no, something every single time I'm at work amazes me or, leaves me in awe. Like we did a foxfire hike last night at Anaruby, and we had some synchronizing fireflies, which were just breathtaking. And people are like, you've done these hikes before. Why are you so amazed by this? And I'm like, how could you not be? It's just, I think nature is just always does some amazing things. So I really, it's probably one of my favorite parts of my job.
I could not agree more. Nature constantly amazes me as well.
Yeah, never gets old.
No, it never
No, it
does.
doesn't.
I love that. Oh.
Go ahead.
I just said I love that you say that every day you see something new, because I feel like that about my job and about nature as well. Like every day I learn something amazing, or
and I always feel like I'm learning something too. And that's funny because sometimes people are like, what? You're here all the time. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's still so cool.
Well, I think sometimes we tend to turn a blind eye when we're busy. And when you are in nature, it brings you back to, and we're lucky to be able to be in nature as often as we are.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show everyone, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see very well, but this is a brand new publication put out by Find Outdoors. It is a journal. It's our inaugural journal. It has 50 pages in beautiful color, has a page for each one of our sites in it, as well as coloring pages for children, and also some of the history by numbers, like I had mentioned. Am I going too fast? And even pictures of some of our staff at headquarters and just talking about the visitor center, the history. If any of our viewers would like a copy of it, we will send you one. You just need to send us your email address, and I will go back to the slide here with our emails. If you email me at Sharon@GoFindOutdoors, or Adam, who is the VP of Development and Communications, he's actually my boss, we will send you one of these if you would like to have a publication to learn more about our organization.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm typing y'all's emails in the chat right now, so folks can.
Perfect.
Great.
So I do have a couple questions from the chat. So
Awesome.
so Kim is wondering, can you sign up for guided programs in advance online?
Yeah, so depending on the program that we offer, if we have like a limited number of spots for a program, we do have links that people sign up through. We usually post those links within our Facebook events on Facebook, and they are also on our website, Go Find Outdoors, under our programs tab. We actually have some like picture squares under that programs tab. So we have our sites and then some picture squares corresponding to whatever program we're having, and you can click on that picture square and it will take you to the sign up link. So depending on the program, we have people sign up. For other programs, we have sort of our programmers just come set up and people just come through. So like for our walking stick workshop, we just had people come through. If they wanted to do it, they would pay in the gift shop and they would come down and do it. For our Raptors program, we had the Georgia Mountain Falconry set up with all their birds, and people just walked by and were able to talk to the educators. So it really just depends on what program we're offering.
Well, even last Saturday for National Get Outdoors Day, the Cradle of Forestry did and it was a free admission day, and everybody just came. There was no signups, and people could use a little passport and go to different stations and learn about Leave No Trace. And it was very popular and very in partnership with the Forest Service. So it was a great day with river rangers there, exploring the pond and showing children and other visitors what's in our pond. And it was a great day. So those things you just find out about on social media or on our newsletters. But the other things that typically sell out way in advance, the Foxfire and the Blue Ghost tours, they sell out usually way before they start.
We even start them, yeah.
So that's why we have to, because we're limited to how many people can come, especially when you're walking around at night, to make sure that everyone is escorted and do not get lost in the forest.
Sounds so amazing. We just had a museum staff person just discovered blue ghosts in his backyard. So we are.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yes.
That's exciting.
It is very exciting. So
Yeah.
we are excited about there being a Piedmont population. So I have, well, I don't have a question. Cindy has a question. Do you plan to expand to more states such as Tennessee?
We are looking into expanding to other states. They currently, actually, our leadership team is talking to the National Forest in Kentucky. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but we're always looking for, and Tennessee would be another great, because we kind of jumped, into Indiana with 3 campgrounds. And, people say, how did you get in Indiana? That doesn't even connect. Georgia and North Carolina are, close together.
That makes sense, yeah.
But no, we would love to continue expanding. As you see the sites here, there's about 17 different sites that we manage. And the campgrounds, a lot of times they really are unsung heroes. Because especially last year during the pandemic, when a lot of visitor centers, that are managed by the Forest Service or National Park Service did not open. Our visitor centers did on a limited basis because of the restrictions involved, but we were open and our campgrounds were open. And there were so many people that came out that had never camped before, which was so wonderful. And, you know, got out in nature because people wanted to get out of their homes. And our campground managers are just fabulous, that they take the time to help people learn to set up a tent when they've never set one up before, or light a fire that they've never made a campfire. So those are our, and beautiful, beautiful places on lakes and in forests and things. So it isn't just our visitor centers. And that's why, as Liberty mentioned, we're expanding some with the backpacks and the adventure guides and things like that, even coloring books. Our managers hand out to the children that are camping in our managed campgrounds. So did I lose the question? Oh man, yes.
I think if the answer is, in all honesty, if the opportunity presents itself, yes.
Yes. But it is, yeah, we mostly are within national forest.
Yeah.
And so can you still hear me? Because I'm getting a notice that my connection is not as good. So
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wave at me if you can't hear me.
Okay.
But in being either in a partnership or as a contract in Pisgah National Forest, the Forest Service is actually, we are a partner with them. A lot of places with like the Park Service and other national forests, we have a contract with them. So, you know, it is something that, it is a process. It isn't something that we just go in and go, oh yeah, we're going to open up this area here. And lots of times we're taking over sites that are poorly managed or are in need of a lot of upgrades. So then that takes time for people to say, oh yes, this is gorgeous. So just give us time and we will, the answer is yes.
That's awesome. It could be in all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
That's our goal, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you both so much for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having us.
Oh, yes, it's been my pleasure. So do you have any last messages for our participants?
Well, I would not be doing my job if I didn't tell you that as a nonprofit, we greatly appreciate financial support by people that love the outdoors and want to make sure that we can continue expanding our organization. If you are interested in making a donation, you can go to our website at gofindoutdoors.org.
I already put it in the chat.
And yes. And it is, we would greatly appreciate that because we do depend on donations from the public that enjoy our sites so that we can reinvest that 83.6% into our sites.
Mm-hmm. And also, we'd love for you to come visit our sites. If you have not already, that list is up on the screen right now. So we would love to have you. We would love for you to join us for a program or a workshop. And we'd love any support that you can offer.
You can send an email to any one of us if you have a question or would like to know more about our sites. But they are also on our website too, all the sites and their descriptions. So if you're thinking, where is Lake Winfield Scott and what is that place? You can go to our website and find out about that campground.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope that you all have a wonderful week. And I hope all of you out there also have a wonderful rest of the week and happy solstice coming up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, right. We
Yes.
felt like it's summer, but here we
Exactly.
go, officially.
Yes,
Well, thank you so much, Carrie.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
Bye,
everyone
thank you.
online.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thanks.